Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back, and today we're looking at a new mod. We're looking at the new Forestry grinder. So, some of you may recognize this head. I brought it over from 2017, which used to belong to the Chimera chipper. So what I've gone and done is basically put a new nasty-looking blade on the front end for chewing up trees, and I've also made it so it's an attachable implement. So you're able to attach it to any machine that has the attachable section. So you can attach it to processors, loaders, cats, whatever you want, and they connect just the same as any other implement. So when you spawn it, it's laying on the ground like that. All you got to do is just drive up, hit Q, click it in. V lowers it on all machines. So on all machines, it's set to a basic lowering section. On the dozer, you have the ability to manually control up and down, unlike the other machines, so you can be a little more precise with it if you want. Now, the main reason I wanted to build this, it's not for chipping, it's only for destroying the leftovers. But I found, especially in my time-lapse series and a couple other things, I was finding huge piles of tops after I'd process, and they'd be littered all over the ground. I kind of left some here so we can do a demonstration of eating them up. But you'd have all these bits, and it's fine if you get a small amount of them, but once you do, a whole block or two, you have a lot of these bits laying around, and you got to get rid of them because they start to cause frame rate drop, and it can be a real issue. So I said, oh man, if only I could have something that I could attach to the front end of the processor to just basically suck up the tops as you're moving along, so you don't have to worry about going back and push them around with the dozer. So yeah, this weekend I sat down and I fired through it, and I was able to make this guy. Now I'm still working on some of the cut nodes. It's not as good as it used to be in 17 for absorbing, but it's still pretty decent. So on this machine, so we're in the processor, which is a dual functional thing. So it's got the harvester head for, cutting trees and stuff. So you have to hit the G as in Gregory button, and it'll switch between the stump grinder and the head for control. So make sure you hit G if you're wondering why it's not working. So hit V for Victor to lower it, and then B to turn it on. And now you get this nasty little cutter going. And then basically all you gotta do is trek around. Now, a lot of the time what's gonna happen, and it looks a little glitchy at times, is things like this little stump end will probably disappear before the blade actually hits it. That's just part of the Giant's engine in the cut node. I tried to get it as close as possible to the blade, but sometimes it'll probably just disappear as we approach it. Yeah, see? So I did make it so it's right on point with the end of this grinder, but unfortunately having it any closer makes it so some of the other logs don't get eaten up, and you just end up pushing them around. So as I kind of go around, you'll probably see it suck it up kind of like a vacuum. Some of them just absorb into the ground. Some of them hang up. So you can see kind of what's going on. But it does a fantastic job at just kind of eliminating the bits. Now I kind of spread them all over the place here, not really precisely in any shape or form. But it does a really good job at chewing them up, and it doesn't look too bad. I wanted to make something that's still kind of chipped away at them without just being a Hoover vacuum and sucking it all up. So it does a pretty good job. I think where this will really come in handy, and I haven't actually done it yet, but we're going to do it on this video just for fun, will be if you're processing trees. And again, do not drop your ends too close to the end of it because it'll probably absorb them. So we're going to set this, normally we cut to what, 4.3, sure. So we're going to walk up to this tree just like we're processing like usual. Oh, and I got to make sure I switch by hitting G to my harvester head, or else I'll never see that come up. So we're going to cut this tree. Now normally what I would do is if I'm on a forwarding trail, I'd put these off to the side. 2 good pieces. Now normally what I do is I'm like, oh man, what do I do with the top? So I usually just shoot it off on the other side so it's out of the way. But then if you guys catch on those time-lapse series, I go back through the map and I have literally like 1,000 pieces laying all over the ground, and that causes huge performance drops, right? So instead, did that thing stay running or did I turn it off? I think I turned it off by accident, so just gonna turn that back on. And there we go. So now instead, all you have to do is just drop it in front of you while you're walking, and you should be able to just eat it up. Bloop. And that's kind of the theory of my new killing of the tops. Because we always were like, man, what do we do with the tops? Well, we can chip them. And I mean, if you really want to chip them, you still can use the chipping stuff that's out there. But not me. I would prefer to just eat them up. So might as well just drop them in sync like this or however you want. And then just run them down, chew them up. Bloop, 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 bloop. No more. And we're going to do one more just for good measure here. Just to see that it does work. This is actually my first time doing what I'm doing right now, and I'm actually pretty excited about it because I was hoping it would work the way it is. And basically the whole point is to just kind of create a cleanup method while you're on the move without having to worry about leaving any useless bits behind. So now you only have the good stuff. You don't have to worry about mixing in the crap, and you just keep driving forward and crushing up the goodies. Nope. Gone. So then basically in... turn all this off. In accordance, you could just do a straight path and leave behind only the good timber. That was kind of the idea behind it. Now, there's one more test I wanted to do, and I haven't actually tried this. So if this goes completely to crap, that's totally my doing. So this guy you could use for cleanup, but it's also horrendously aggressive and can take down whole trees. Now, a lot of the time, if you're cutting through the forest, I would never, ever recommend just turning this on and driving through the forest. Whoops. Because what'll happen is the cut node catches the tree twice, and it just deletes it from existence sometimes. So I just wanted to address all this before I do it. So we're going to try... This tree type is the most horrendous physics nightmare in this game. It is the worst piece of crap in the world. So I figured if we're going to do a beta test on it, this will be the tree. But these things, like when you cut them, they create angles that you can't see, and there's huge physics glitches. So I'm like, if this thing can handle this tree, we can do it. Now, I've never cut one of these with this, so if it goes to crap, you guys can't blame me. So see how it just kind of eats itself down to the ground? That's why I would say I would never recommend just driving through the woods and chewing up trees, because more than likely it will look really glitchy. Looks like we got a piece stuck on us here. Let's see if I can get that off there. Almost need like a forestry cage on this thing. Maybe that'll be a future update. So yeah, you can drive along and just kind of raise and lower your blade and eat it up as you go. As you can see, it's just kind of motoring through it. Oops, trying to get a view that looks good here. There we go. So you can see it just kind of carves through it. Again, it's a very glitchy tree type, this one, but it seems to be carving it up pretty well. So let's go over here. Just want to make sure I get all these little bits here. So yeah, normally it would take you like forever to cut this tree up. Even with a buncher, it's a pain in the butt. And now you can basically just run it down and chew it up into little pieces. And if you really want to get advanced, you know, you just drive around and basically absorb all the little bits and pieces that you don't want to see anymore. And there you go. We just wasted that entire tree. Now, in the other direction here, we're gonna drive over to one of these trees here. But if you try cutting down one of these kind of flatter trees without like crazy branches and stuff, if it's not on the ground, if you're cutting it from a top, it'll generally fall in a straight line, chop, 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 straight down. But a lot of times, if that node catches wrong, it'll just make the tree disappear. So I'm going to try to give you an example of that so you can see what I'm talking about. So normally you could run into it. Doot, doot, doot. Oh, this one's going to chip away on us. Okay, that's good. But my experience on some of the other trees when I was walking around, like this one should probably just disappear if I drive into it. Bloop. So that effect that just happened there is usually what happens if you just drive it straight through the forest. And they generally fall over the cab and make a big scene, so we'll just run this one right through here. See, that's generally what will happen if you just keep driving. Now, granted, you could just put this thing on go and let it go through the forest, and more than likely you will clear a path. But it's not really meant for knocking trees down. I mean, if you really want to use it for that, sure, go ahead, but this is not what it's meant for. See how it just chips them down like that? Not super realistic, not super great, but it's the best we can get, and I think it'll be kind of funny to see what people do with it. So, oh, we got this tree stuck on us now. Anyway, I could just sit here all day and chip away, so I'm gonna end it here. But yeah, this is the new chipper, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's cool that we can attach it to whatever machine we want to make our machines even more toolbox friendly for multiple jobs. This thing basically with the processor attaching a grinder on it becomes basically the ultimate crawl through the forest destroyer, because you can just keep all the good wood, delete all the bad wood, and, you know, clear all the trees. It's really fun. I haven't tried it on anything else other than this and the loader, but I'm sure you guys will get creative with it. So Yeah. Anyway, if you guys are seeing this video now, this guy is for download. You can get it right now. Just head on over to fdrlogging.com, and you should be able to download it there. If you guys have any problems or issues, leave them in the comments below. And, yeah, happy logging. Go have fun destroying some trees. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time.